Hey, what's up, guys? You're about to see me playing this game for the first time, and it gets pretty funny. Uh, but I have to tell you, I was really high when I recorded this, so this is going to be kind of a funny ride. Subscribe if you want to see more of this game, and let me know what other games you want to see.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
All right, we'll watch this.
Stanley
Stanley.
worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Hey, if it makes you happy,
And
I
then
guess.
one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Uh-oh.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
He's a robot.
Never in all his years at the
He's a
company
freak.
had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got
Wasn't
up
a
from
very
his
long
desk
time, but
and
okay.
stepped out of his office.
He stepped out of his office. Did he get up and get frozen? What's going on here? Oh. Oh. Okay. So now I have to do what they say. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. What happens if I go back to Stanley's... Oh, the door is closed. Okay. Is it closed when you go through it?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Can I enter the door on the right? I mean, it says to go to the left, but can I go to the right? I mean, it looks like I can. Fuck the system. Let's do it.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Alright, I guess we're going to the lounge then.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Beautifully constructed
Stanley
room.
simply stood here, drinking it all in.
There's some couches, coffee table, vending machine.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings.
Well, you
Really
told me he
worth it.
just stood there. Just doing what you told me he did. What time is it?
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Wait, is this a functioning clock? What time is it? It's
Stanley sat around waiting for more
1:05
dialogue.
in real time.
But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he
It's,
decided that the game was
almost
trying
12.
to send him a message.
Almost noon. Yeah. Okay. Wait, what kind of soda's available? No fucking clue.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
The first door on his left, okay. Wait a second. We have a choice to make. Do I go through the door on the left, or do I go through the door on the right? The game told me that I go through the left, but there's a door open here. What room number is that? I have no idea.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
The game is telling me I'm an idiot. What is going on here? Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of the cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000. Wait, but if you die, how do you pay the penalty? What? Okay. What am I supposed to do then? Get on the lift?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who's her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who is she? Who is this female person? Whoa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Okay, how do I do that? Oh, mouse click. Okay. What?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the
Hey!
pan out of the oven.
That's employee
Oh,
427 in room 427.
Okay, there we go.
Here's a room
All right,
427.
now, I want you to come in
Okay,
and tell me
what,
all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
What?
Who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I don't believe that you're going to show me what's really going on here, but I guess I'll do that.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employee 427. Press 3 on your keyboard, okay? I will press 3.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
G.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing buttons.
Is this punishment?
Now he's eating lunch.
This
now
is punishment.
He's going home. Now
This
he's
is
coming
punishment
back
for
to
doing
work.
exactly the
One might
opposite
even
of what
feel
the game
sorry
told
for
me to do
him,
earlier.
except that he's chosen this life.
What?
But in his mind, in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
No. Oh, press 8 to watch TV. Okay,
And
what's
so
on
he
TV?
began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his
there
desk
isn't a
to
TV.
realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press O. Spend time with the boys. What? What boys?
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Prepare dinner? But... Okay.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round
Why are there a
room
shitload of
with
filing
monitors
cabinets
and
here?
mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Please press P to tell your kids a story. I don't have kids. I don't have kids with whom to tell a story, but okay.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Wait, no, but he doesn't have a wife. What the hell?
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be?
Okay, that
In
y'all
reality,
saw
all
that.
he's doing is pushing the same buttons
No.
he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Press E to in what bed? Let me guess, one's gonna materialize out of nowhere.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I don't know what to do here. The screen is telling me to do something. I'm gonna do
You
it.
see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley
Please
pushed a button.
die. Wow.
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
What just happened here? The game crash? No!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Y'all, we just got trolled good. That was a good troll. Holy shit. What? Okay. Guess we're gonna do what the game tells us to
When
do.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, we'll do it.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley
Do
decided to go up
unbelievably
to his
amazing work all
boss's
the time
office,
every day.
hoping he might find an
Yeah,
answer
not fast
there.
enough to see. What's on here? To do. Synergize core value and expenditures. Buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. Shift global market. Parade? Global market parade? I don't know. Monetize free to play. I mean, yeah, that would be like stupid loot boxes and shit. Alright, let's continue.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Walk downstairs. No, the game will troll me again. I don't want to do that.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
Okay.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
I'm not sure I was pressing.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, okay, what's going on here? Stanley, I don't think you should go much farther. Oh, okay. Loading, 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 loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind control facility. Yeah, like this game. Escape. Oh man. Do I walk into a mind control facility or do I try to escape? Guess we'll do what it says.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I can't read that. This is not creepy or anything. What's this button gonna do?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Apparently?
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Whoever they got to do the voice over for this game is amazing. Whoever wrote the script is amazing.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
But it's offline. So what do I do here? Red button. What? Not extremely sure what to do here. Facility power. Okay. What do we got here?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
I have no idea what that says. Can I find out? Advanced. Still no idea. Okay. System power. Well, off.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet,
All right.
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go.
Oh, snap.
whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Achievement unlocked. Beat the game? Is that it? Is that all? Okay, well, I guess that's gonna do it for right now. If you liked the video and want to see more, leave a reaction and leave a reaction, leave a comment, let me know what you thought and if you want to see more. Peace.